Hey guys, it's me, Rich. So we're being told that everything in Minnesota is normal. Everything's fine. And you should stop asking questions, you bigots. But what you're about to see should make you stop cold. You're watching a sitting member of Congress go from underwater financially to wildly wealthy in just a few short years. And you're watching the people in charge pretend that they just didn't even notice. This video walks you through the money, the silence, the investigations, and the people who tried to warn us long before. But what you'll soon find out is how deep the rot goes and why Minnesota may just be the test case for something much, much bigger. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to RPW Media. So, something is happening in Minnesota, and the silence around it is getting louder by the day. What started as a political disagreement has turned into something much more serious. This is now about accountability, transparency, and whether the rules apply equally to everyone. Here's the part that should immediately raise eyebrows. Public records indicate that Ilhan Omar went from a net worth of roughly negative $45,000 in 2019 to an estimated $30 million today. That didn't happen over decades. It happened pretty quickly. And it happened while her congressional salary sat at $174K a year. Now pause right there, because the math does not care about party affiliation. It does not care about ideology. Numbers either add up or they don't. And in this case, well, they don't. And here's the question no one in power wants to answer. If this were anyone else, would the investigation already be underway? You're darn tootin' it would. Things get even murkier when you look at her husband's business activities. Reports say he quietly removed officers and advisors from his firm's website while a Minnesota fraud investigation was active. Gosh, I wonder why that happened. Was that just a coinkydink? Some of those names were reportedly tied to former Obama administration officials. At the same time, the couple's wealth surged drastically in a single year. Can you do that? That timing matters, guys, and ignoring it makes things even worse, not better. Because this is the moment where every honest observer starts thinking the same thing. Someone knows something, and they don't want to talk. The story no longer stops with one lawmaker involved. It's not just Ilhan. It has reached the governor's office. Republican lawmakers in Minnesota have openly called for Tim Walz to step down, citing massive fraud tied to Medicaid and child care program. We're talking about taxpayer losses in the hundreds of millions of dollars. They didn't formally file recall papers, but the message was unmistakable. Leadership comes with responsibility, and deflection only works until it doesn't. State Representative Kristen Robbins, chair of the Minnesota Fraud Committee and a Republican candidate for governor, says she warned the Walz administration months ago. After leading a February 2024 hearing on daycare fraud, she said her concerns went nowhere. And she said, quote, "I gave the Department of Human Services a list of the daycare providers getting over $1 million in the previous year from the state who had numerous violations. And this daycare was one of them on the list," Robbins said, outside of the Quality Learning Center facility. Yes, they even misspelled the sign. They left the N out on learning, which tells you just how comfortable these operators were. They didn't even bother pretending anymore. And then the story took another turn. Older videos started resurfacing showing Ilhan Omar standing beside a former Somali prime minister. In those videos, he openly claimed that her priorities align with Somalia rather than the United States or even Minnesota. Omar stood there smiling. No correction, no objection, no clarification. Give this a watch.
Ilhan Omar oo magaca Soomaaliya qalin dahab ah ku qortay. Ilhan ma
says the interests of Ilhan are not Ilhan's. It's not the interest of Minnesota, nor is it the interest of the American people. And look at her. She's smiling at the words he said. The interest of Ilhan is that of the Somalian people and Somalia. She's not correcting him. Now you could try to claim, well, you know, a politician's going to do what a politician does. Yeah, but isn't it against the rules to allow it to be thought that you care more about a foreign country than The United States?
guusha ilhaan waa guusha Soomaaliyeed
The success of Ilhan is the success of Somalia, he's saying.
waxayna noo ximbaarsan tahay macno weyn aniga oo ku hadlaya magaca dadka
He's saying he's speaking in the name of the Somalian people.
Soomaaliyeed oo dhan meel walba ay joogaan
Everywhere.
waxaan idinka codsanayaa inaad
And he's saying support her by giving her money. Are you kidding me?
hiil iyo hool la garab istaagtaan ku taageertaan codkiinna
Look at her smiling.
deriskiinna saaxiibadiin cid walba ood garanaysaan aad u sheegtaan inay soo baxaan si ay ilhaan ugu codeeyaan albaab walbana aad u garaacdaan sidii
Knock on
dib
every
loogu
door
dooran lahaa
so that she can be reelected. Now, why do you think that is? I mean, ask yourself honestly, if a Republican had appeared on stage while a foreign leader said something like that, how long would it take for the media outrage and the hype to erupt? Hours, minutes, seconds? And we're told that her family fled from Somalia because of civil war. But what is rarely discussed is the political reality at the time. They claim, made by critics, is that her family was tied to the communist government that collapsed, and they fled not for opportunity, but to avoid retaliation from the people they ruled over. So they apparently left Somalia and went to a refugee camp in Kenya. Then they got sick of that and they applied to come to the United States as refugees. And so they came here. And apparently Ilhan spent the rest of her time trying to figure out how to manipulate our system, because in Somalia, that's what you do. It's normal over there, but it's not normal over here. And I guess Ilhan forgot about that or didn't care. Now, this is where independent journalists step in. YouTuber Nick Shirley confronted staff at facilities tied to this fraud scheme. He asked a simple question: where are the children? No one answered. Give this a watch.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
What fraud?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question.
million
Are there
Somalia.
children? There's no children inside this building. Potentially the largest fraud scandal in US history is taking place in Minnesota, as literally billions of dollars have been funneled through Somali-ran fraudulent businesses.
I'm going to put the link to the full 42-minute video down in the description because I think you should watch this. Meanwhile, corporate media said almost nothing. I mean, they said nothing. All right, so here's where Nick is outside the Equality Leering Center. Give this a watch.
As we continue to show the blatant fraud that was taking place here in Minnesota, Somalis started following us around the city. And now we're being followed by the Somalis. This is another daycare center, absolutely no signage, and there's no footprints in the snow of children playing outside. $5 million within the past
5.9 million in 2 years. 5.9 million they
And there's
received
no one there.
in 2 years. That facility
Total
right
fraud.
there.
And now we have a group of Somalis telling us in our vehicle right now. From this daycare center, we headed over to the
There you go.
infamous Quality Learning Center, which actually spells Quality Leering Center on the outside of their sign. That's how blatant
Guys, that means they gave up on giving a crap.
this fraud is here at this daycare. Don't open up! So this is Quality Leering Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open
They
up!
said they spelt learning wrong.
Don't open up!
Look at
How do
this.
you have ice here, ma'am?
You always got one idiot out there with a phone.
I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up!
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up! We have ice!
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up!
and getting $4 million
Don't
over
open
the
up! It's ice!
$4 million in the last?
She thinks they're ice. What a maroon. Same liberalism, different scandal. And now this problem is spreading around. Similar fraud alerts are popping up in Washington state. Reports indicate that hundreds of licensed daycare centers tied to, get this, Somali-run operations do not even list a verifiable physical address. They probably ran out of real estate where they can continue the scams in Minneapolis. So they said, let's go all the way out to Washington. Even Elon Musk reacted to this news by simply tweeting, not even an address. There are reportedly 539 childcare centers in Washington state listing Somali as the primary language. Are you kidding me? Most do not list a street address at all. That does not automatically mean fraud, but it absolutely demands scrutiny. How did they get licenses if they're not going to post an address? Isn't that something that's supposed to be mandatory when you open up a business, especially with children? And here's where the story gets eerie. More than a decade ago, Charlie Kirk posted a simple warning, tweeting, "Keep an eye on Minnesota." At the time, no one cared. Today, it reads like a prophecy. Even Nick Shirley acknowledged it, saying, "Wow, Charlie was right 12 years ago." Now, this is no longer about left versus right, guys. This is about whether public officials are held to the same standards as the people paying their bills. When citizens refuse to accept silence, pressure builds. And when pressure builds, outcomes change. The upside is this: the truth has a way of surfacing no matter how hard people try to bury it. The more eyes on this story, the harder it becomes to ignore. Accountability is not optional in a republic. And when regular Americans demand answers, history shows that eventually they get them. All right, so tell me what you think in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Happy New Year.